Alrighty guys, welcome back, and obviously we are getting ourselves prepared towards the final game of today at least, and that will be MYM up against Epsilon. Mine's to be going head to head for some time, but I wanted to catch them early on in this game, and there's been a little bit of an update about one of the other games, about a team losing by 1 ticket. Now that's pretty harsh. Dogbert, how are you feeling about that?
I don't feel good for the team that did it, and I think there was PK Dynamics losing to Executor by just 1 ticket. Wow.
Ouch. That has to hurt. You know what I mean? That's when you start considering every small mistake that ever happened. It's not good. But anyway, the first map that we are going to be seeing is Storm, and obviously Epsilon with David, Akosh, Duke, Jera, and Horek. MYM, Punch, S8F, Ducky Chan, Flax, and Waffy. Where is your money for this map at least?
This is interesting because Epsilon are playing with I wouldn't say that B lineup, but definitely there's no Mayak. And there's no core EU. They're playing in with Akatosh here and Jerov. Both good players, but definitely not their top frontline killers that they usually bring in. So I think that might hurt them. I think an inconsistent lineup could be the thing. It might switch it in the balance of MYM. So I'm going to go MYM.
Well, okay. I think I might join you on that front, actually. Normally, I'd obviously go the other way, but Epsilon, if they're not fielding their best of the best, then they could be in trouble. We are seeing Punch there just locking this one over, and it's a trip cap already for MYM. Not exactly the start you'd have wanted for any Epsilon fans. Akosh already looking towards that seaside. He should have fairly free reign over here, but whether or not they can actually hold this one down is a very different matter, and we know that MYM are so good on this map. They can dominate those buildings. They can really start making it hurt on this one, and already with that sort of ticket advantage or ticket bleed against the opposition, it's not a great start for Epsilon at all.
No. And you see MYM are controlling the buildings between the B and A flags, and this is exactly what MYM need. As long as they can make sure that they stop the capture on that B flag, Horek right now capturing it. You can see MYM though just putting pressure on all the buildings. They control them now. They can push on that B whenever they feel like it. They just got to make sure they get the kills.
Well, there we go. Horek is that real man standing on the side. He did have some support coming in from Jera and Duke. We are seeing Punch pretty much the only man standing towards that building. He gets taken down as well, so a little bit of a reclaim here coming from Epsilon. Finally waking up, getting a 2-1 hold in their favour. So finally a lot better start here. And we do see Akosh already capturing, really spotting out where Ducky Chan and the respawns were coming from. If he has the patience to wait it out, he might get some beautiful shots. And there we go. Takes down SFAF, goes in for the third, claims it. Lovely little hat trick. Really locking them in and buying more time for his side.
Yeah, and that's a quick turnaround from Epsilon, and that was because MYM started to get a bit greedy and coming forward when they need to be a bit more careful on what they come and get. And right now, Epsilon got the position they want. They've got the B flag, and if I'm calling anyone B team, I'm not. Right now, 6 for 1 on Akatosh, so obviously listening to the cast and deciding to go all out.
Step the hell up, yeah, indeed. These guys making us question our choices. Ducky Chan there picking up a kill. You are seeing these guys, MYM, taking the time to get back in towards the central area of the map, and you can tell why Epsilon really are just kind of laying claim to those buildings. Well, Horek does receive a little bit of a tag. Nice little bit of work coming from Flax there with some assistance from his teammates. We are seeing B being capped over by MYM. That may bring it as 2-1 in their favor if they can stop David, for example, holding on to that A, or at least converting on that A side. No one there to contest him. This is troublesome for MYM. With Ducky Chan going down, they won't be able to convert this, so it should at least go back in their favor if David gets this cap underway.
Yeah, but you can see David's going to capture that, no problem. Nothing can stop him. More importantly, Epsilon still have complete control of all the buildings in the middle of the map. And right now, MYM need to really break that, because they can't survive like this. The middle is so important. Maybe MYM seem to be struggling to get past these buildings. They might need to start resorting to blowing them up. But Epsilon right now are looking so strong.
Yeah, trip cap coming out for these guys, and they seeming to be able to hold it as they do have those positions within the buildings. Flax, the only one to really break through into this. He's having a little look here down towards that northwest side. Not going to be finding too much luck. Waffy has got the kill though, so they are working this one through. Finally, it's just Horek standing on the side, well, not standing anymore, prones down, gets picked up and thrown out there. So we are seeing a little bit of a breakthrough coming from MYM. Duke now the only one really within these buildings. He has actually one teammate aside him, who just got picked up. That was, I'm not sure who that was actually, and this is a little bit of a turnaround now. We are seeing them slowly but surely working this out. MYM have claimed those buildings, which we know they love doing, and once they get their kind of teeth into this, they can kind of get secured. S8F, the man I originally saw running with that Scar H, just tuck it into those little containers, closing the doors, making sure he's got that. There's a 2-man push on towards it, and also a 2-man push on towards that seaside. So interesting play coming out from Epsilon, certainly hedging their bets and trying to claim over that A site.
Yeah, and a big play from Safe there. Managed to get 2 kills, but unfortunately it wasn't enough as Horik finishes them off. A big commitment by Epsilon on that B flag, and it doesn't work for them as he gets picked off. Right now, this is looking quite good for MYM. They've got the flags they need. They probably need to rotate a bit back over to this B flag, but you're just going to see back and forth, B going over all the time. Whoever controls it long enough is probably going to win this round.
Well, let's see if the buildings once again reign true here. We do see Punch at least in there at the moment, nading out. Does manage to pick up David on the side. Going to go for the challenge towards the opposite building, but he knows there's a player on the side he needs to be worrying about first. The nades are now coming from his team. Akosh splitting off towards the left there. He's going to be picked up as well by Punch, and now here comes the push. This is beautiful play from Punch so far. He should be able to pick up Flax here if he doesn't get taken down. Actually got pushed in towards the back, and it's a 2-1 once again in favor to Epsilon. This is a game of real swing and roundabouts. As you mentioned, whoever seems to be able to hold B first seems to be able to get the tickets at least a little bit more into their favor.
Yeah, but you can jump out of the buildings quite quickly. That is a big kills from David 2K there. Wow. We complete control of the buildings now, and you can see with the control of buildings, you can pretty much spot who wherever they spawn, more importantly, jump off to any flag you need.
Yeah, and now Jera has got 2 players staring him down towards C. Going to be taking on Ducky Chan, who wins that exchange. We know this man's got a bit of a monstrous aim. And a bit of a split spawn coming in for MYM. 2 up by C, 3 down by B. You've got Waffy clapping out this flag, and actually not to immediately contest it. The nades are, however, coming in, but he's staying alive. Lovely set nades coming out there. Takes down Horik, claims over the point, and defends it again against David. Finally gets taken down, but another little bit of time chipped away from Epsilon. But whether or not they can hold on to it is a very different matter. 2-1 currently in favor to MYM.
Yeah, but it's really back and forth. Buildings control is for Epsilon, and that's what they need. And you can see, but they're worried about pushing forward on that B flag because they know that the crossfire from those buildings is so dangerous.
Yeah, no easy route in. Already SAF does find Horik there. Flax has made a way around a touch. Could be trying to go for a little sneaky bit of a maneuver, try and push those building spots. Jera on the way down, but we are seeing the exchange going through on the flag. It's Waffy going low. He does get the exchange. No, he picks up the kill. He takes down David. They should be able to get a combo here. Prones it down. Beautiful play from Waffy. Just waiting this one out. He knows his play is present, but he can't escape. The blocking comes in, but doesn't find Duke. His teammate will fall, and we see the turnaround again. B is going back and forth. It's barely being held. But still, there's a slight advantage to Epsilon as they've been able to just claim it that moment longer.
Yeah, and you can see David UK get big spawn out near C, so he's going to be able to take that flag pretty much uncontested. Right now, the houses are back over for MYM, but they don't have the flag control, and they're in a danger of being dom cap right now, so they need to be really careful.
Yeah, 3 flags now going over towards the opposition. We've got Punch making that split towards A, trying to minimize the damage. The challenge is going through in the buildings. S8F right in their faces as much as possible. His teammates splitting through. Flax is not far away from these guys. He knows it as well. Does try and get a little sneaky jump through. Not going to get that one. B and C are being contested. C being turned over by the likes of David and Co. We saw that earlier. B now by Ducky Chan. And that building capture has not gone too smoothly for Epsilon. They've lost a couple of players, and we've seen that reflected in the fact that B is now in the hands of the opposition. 44 tickets now remain. They had to turn that in, but already Horik fancying his chances, hopping in. Waffy is literally steps away. He does get the tag. His teammate will get the frag. Beautiful retake coming from Epsilon. They should be able to convert onto B, but we are seeing the likes of Ducky Chan still right in their faces. He's going to allow a couple of good respawns, possibly, if he does manage to stay alive, but this is looking good for Epsilon if they can contain at least one more of these sites.
Yeah, you can see MYM starting to shift up to more of the AC hold here. They haven't had that much success at B, except from at the beginning. And right now, the problem with the CA hold is because of how spread out they are and how susceptible they are to spawns. You can see MYM digging into a lot of these houses here, and it could go well for them, but they need to clear up Akutosh quite quickly.
Yeah, we'll see if he can stay alive. I think he just did get taken down, but we do have a little bit of a split current. So MYM keeping their options open here. We do see Punch still spotting in by A, going to be looking towards that B side, whereas C has been taken over by Epsilon. These points are very close, let's bear in mind. There's nothing between them, 37-49. Horik now picking up the mantle, trying to push through. Jero, however, is doing the damage. It's Flax on the site, though, capping that one over in favor to MYM. 2-1 hold. C also being taken over. This could be a trip cap, and they do need that. Epsilon are behind by MYM are behind by a couple of tickets. Flax is such a pivotal player right now. He's got teammates nowhere to be found. Jara takes him down. So B, at least for now, will be going towards Epsilon, but A and C will be retained by MYM.
Yeah, but the spawns coming in on that house between B and A is really the issue here, because they're not cleaning them up quickly enough. This fight of B is going on and on. But Epsilon just got the pick on C, and they're pushing on to A. So right now, MYM are do and die on that B flag.
Yeah, this is all they've got right now. 33 to 31. Every single flag being contested. A by Epsilon, B by MYM, and C by MYM. This should be a 2-1 if they can hold it this way, but we're going to have to find out if that goes through. A does get taken into the hands of Epsilon. B into MYM's, and C, as we are watching right now, is being taken over. It is that 2-1. So the tickets will be against the opposition, nading out there. But where is the main attention? There we go. Waffy's gone, but will they expect Flax being that defensive back player? He's going to be holding this one through. C already being contested. He knows there's going to be players around here. Takes his time. Tries to work out where these guys are. Lovely little play. Takes down the main operative there. He's got to know that there's maybe one more close. Here we go. It will be Punch just challenging flat out. Looking for the way through. There's a player literally steps away. He does get taken down. 2-1 hold. And A is going to be capped over by S8F.
Yeah, MYM have picked it up big time. Full domination cap here. Threatening all flags, and right now MYM just need to clear up on this B flag and they'll probably win this round, but it's all down to B. And there's the pickup right now. Epsilon have to charge onto that A flag. It's the only one they can really take here, and right now it's going to be safe versus 2 Epsilon guys, and right now MYM just have to buy time.
Let's see how long it takes him to realize A is being capped over. He's kind of ignored it, looking back to maybe towards C. He knows that's the side they'd rather hold. So interesting play, leaving Flax there to push off on the flank towards that A side. Going to be picking up David. Can they find him, or can they retain as many tickets as possible in this one? You are seeing a couple of respawns coming through. B now being pushed by Epsilon as well. These guys are looking to do as much damage as possible. Waffy gets a couple of tags. He knows there's a player back there. 3 tickets now remaining. It's a matter of time. Jarrett is making a bit of a stand here, but it's all too little too late. 1 ticket remains. B was being contested, but it's 21 tickets in favor to MYM.
That kill by Ducky-chan right there on that B flag right at the end was key, because if he hadn't dropped that man, he would have captured that flag and they would have been in deep, deep trouble, because at the same time, so many of their players were on A, no one would have got back to B. It was a trade kill at B, but saved it for MYM. But that was close. Epsilon were in control for a lot of that game.
Certainly
and then MYM brought it back.
And the thing is, no player played badly there is the thing I'm looking at here. Every single player breaking past 10 at least, you know, mostly around a positive KDA. It's not exactly dire. You've got 17 to 11, 14 to 9. On the other side, 20 to 14. So every single same kind of par here, all of them able to perform at such a top tier level. It's fantastic to watch, and well, I got to give credit to both sides. 21 tickets is not a big amount. You know, one of those trip caps going the other way probably would have allowed that to happen. So certainly worth keeping your eyes on for the second half here. I think one of the players dropped, so hopefully they'll be back in nice and quickly. But your thoughts on that one so far? I think we kind of gave it a little bit one-sidedly because of the B team there, but certainly a very close game considering.
Well, yeah, I did save Akatosh. But the problem is, all these guys have played plenty of competitive games.
Certainly.
It's just Epsilon switch in and out players quite a lot. So when you don't see like your Mayak or your Corey, you're like, oh, maybe, this is their reserve player. It's a branding you put on someone simply because they join in when someone else crashes. But Akatosh came in there and just got a huge score, top scorer for his team, did really well. And Sheriff was in 3rd place for his team on score. I mean, all of them chipping in where they're needed, all of them top-level players, would be at home in any team in top BF, but it's just you're used to a few others. But they did really well. And I don't know, that game went back and forth, and I think Epsilon just got a bit sloppy near the end there, and MYM took advantage.
Yeah, so obviously with the player dropped, I don't think we're going live anytime soon. They're just going to be waiting this one out, and hopefully that player will be rejoining nice and quickly. And I'm not sure what to make of this now, and I'm loving the kind of variety and weaponry we're seeing. A lot more of the Scar H is actually coming into play this time, not just, the regular kind of setup we see that we started to see. So, I think it was one of the original points you made there, the likes of, I can't remember his name, I think it was S8F was one of the players, and there was someone else who did really enjoy kind of running with that one, and they were very happy to do so. So a lot of unique kind of reasoning behind it. Now, can you take me through why the Scar is kind of used in comparison to some other guns, for example?
It's very good on the short and medium range. It still can do good long range, but not as well as maybe the Ace 23. It's the damage it does. It will win you these one-on-one fights. And I believe it was, though I could be told I'm completely wrong, I believe it was Puntrel who pretty much has been running with the Scar for quite a long time. Kind of fighting out there with drunks for trendsetters. Obviously, Drunks used the Ace 52 to great effect at DreamHack, and even before then, and now everyone's using the Ace 52 on a lot of maps. But now the Scar H is almost replacing the Ace 23 on a lot of maps like this, especially on Dawnbreaker. You've seen almost exclusively the Scar H. It's just it's one of those weapons. It just does so much damage, you can't ignore it. The problem is cycling rate's a little slower and the ammunition isn't quite there. So you find yourself reloading a lot.
Yeah, that 21 bullets is not exactly ideal at times. So hopefully we will get the joined up player back. I think they've rejoined us, so it shouldn't be too long. And just a quick reminder, if Epsilon drop below 21 tickets, that means the first map will be going over to MYM. So just keep that in the back of your minds. Try and keep that fresh. Hopefully this game will start up nice and quickly. We don't want any delays, really. You can see Ajera there trying to slam dunk. He's clearly not Kobe Bryant. That's not how basketball works. But still, we will get underway in this one. But overall, I've got to say it, Epsilon, Epsilon without Mayek is not hard to take seriously. Obviously that's a bit harsh, but Mayek is such a force within himself that it's very hard to kind of look at this and go, yeah, they're certainly gonna be fine. They're a very capable team within their own, but obviously with such a dominating force like Mayek, you do start kind of overcompensating maybe his worth compared to some other players. But still, I think we'll have to see how it really comes down to when they're put to the real pressure here, because that was a close game, to be fair. 21 tickets is certainly not a clear-cut victory for either side. So once again, just to take you through the lineups if you are just joining: Ducky Chan, Flax, Punchroll, Safe, and Wafi for MYM. Main lineup in play, whereas Epsilon missing some of their players there, but still certainly doing some brilliant work. David 2K, Duke, Gerald, Horek, and Akosh all lining up for those guys. So we will be seeing on the Chinese side Epsilon, they're just messing with my overlays, and Meet Your Makers on the US side. So when you see the team of the Chinese side, so in the top right corner, if they drop below 21 tickets, that is the first map over and done with. So we do see the starting lineups here. What sort of sides do you think we're going to see immediately contested?
A and B are the initial flashpoints. I'm not sure if we are live now. It doesn't look like.
No.
But you'll see a lot of pressure on that A flag straight off the bat, and at B. Now, a lot of the times, obviously, I think the Chinese, they spawn very close to C, so that's their gimme flag. They'll get that straight away. They don't have to worry. No contention there. But B is the flag that they want to get a foothold on, but they will be outnumbered, and that's their problem. So, it will be the US side that spawns closer to C. They will be able to get onto B, but they'll always be outnumbered. So a lot of teams, especially Epsilon here, will probably look to take control of the houses while contest A, and from capturing C, then start to put pressure on that B flag.
Well, let's find out, because I think all players... Oh, I'm speaking too soon. MYM, are you in here? Ooh, I think MYM have joined us. So we should be going live once this countdown does begin. So hopefully no issues there. And they've changed... They like messing with my overlays. I swear to God. Meet Your Makers on the Chinese side. So when you see the US team drop below 21 tickets in the top left, that is when you know this game is over. So let's see where the early contest does come down to. And maybe not.
No.
MYM.
MYM have dropped a player, so...
MYM.
It's always their fault. Well, they're never easy to just get into games these days.
Oh, it's like when Mark Horner used to play for them before Dignitas kind of brought him on the straight and narrow. He was that team, whoever they seem to pick up, always has issues. Diablo, for example, God4, you never want that man around. It's never good. So we are going to wait on this one, obviously, to get underway. They have dropped that player, and while we wait, we can kind of have a look towards how this is going to pan out and the effects of it. Obviously, it's not just the teams that make it into the top 16. Obviously, the placement will come into effect as well. Obviously, you don't want your first game in this, let's say you're MYM, to be up against the likes of Epsilon or Fnatic. It'd be probably a little bit nicer to get someone a little bit lower down the table. So all of that will come into play, I do believe. So we'll be finding that out at the end of the day when we see the final bracket. So we are just going to wait for this one to start, and hopefully it doesn't take too long, because I had enough of doing filler on the weekend. It kind of broke me a little bit as a caster. There's only so much I can do before I start losing my mind, and It doesn't take a lot for me to kind of slowly but surely fizzle away into absolute nonsense, as people have probably noticed by now. But ladies and gentlemen at home, I do once again ask you to make sure you get involved on Twitter. Make sure you let us know your predictions towards this one, and obviously towards tomorrow, because the games will be carrying on. And because I've, fired Jason Kaplan, sent him off to Sao Paulo to kind of live there, I'll be joined by Dogbert, hopefully, unless he kind of abandons me, which is also completely acceptable. So do let me know what you think your final teams are going to be, or just the outcome of this game. Obviously, tweet at myself, at They Call Me Pansy, and at Dignitas Dogbert. Very simple stuff. But, yeah, hopefully MYM don't take too long. Who dropped out of those?
I'm not sure. Why? Do you need
Safe.
someone to go send a hit squad to or something?
I kind of do. Honestly,
I can get you addresses and get your names. Don't worry.
Thank you. That'd be highly appreciated. It's always kind of you.
It'll be safe who's dropped for MYM.
Yeah, I did just... Yeah, it is. Scumbag. What are you doing to me? I was always nice to him because he was like always using, different weaponry. I was like, oh, he's really good at this. And he did it on Dawnbreaker. And I was like, oh, that's really awesome. Now he goes and drops out of games. And I'm just left here being sad. It's not okay. Not okay at all. Ah, downtime, aren't you fun? Like, did you ever kind of, as we were on Storm, did you ever join in on the hunting around for the shark? Did you ever give it a go?
Oh no, I would leave people who want to get their own server and fill it with all their friends and spend an entire evening trying to find something that might not even be there. I'd let other people do that, and then I watch the video that they make, so I don't have to sit there and render it. Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing that. It would drive me nuts. Did you see the one on the on hotel on resort where they blow up a ship?
You can blow up the ship? I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, there's a ship out at sea, and you can if you hit the right point on the ship at a light with a sniper rifle, you can blow it up.
Okay.
Yeah, no. Do you know how they found this out? They didn't just shoot random things all around the game. What they did is they went through the game files, found the audio bits, and be like, okay, something happens to a ship here, so.
Yeah, that's how they found the T-Rex, obviously, on the other one. I was one of these sad people. I'm going to admit that right now. I was one of these losers who happily went around and looked for this stuff. It made me very happy. Aw. No, it's gone away. There was someone using the little flying thing. It reminds me of you, Dog, but if anyone uses kind of like lame stuff in game, it always reminds me of you. It's a beautiful sight. But no, I enjoy looking around for it. It was after the Jack Frags video, everyone got all hyped up about it, and off I went. Yes, thank you, admin, for telling me it's not live. Didn't realise we were discussing sharks and T-Rexes.
You serious? I didn't know. They got UMAVs out and everything.
I thought we were live.
Look, I mean, look at the tactics that Pontro's using right now. He's using the.
I really like that tactic. Oh, he's not very good at flying. That, to be fair.
No, he's terrible.
He's awful.
They're not. Obviously, they need to recruit me to teach them how to use the bot. I mean.
Yes, that it's a unique skill within itself. People don't appreciate it.
Yeah, it's still my most used vehicle. In kill wise and everything. I mean.
It's amazing.
I am Sir Kill-A-Lot himself, the most dangerous botter EU, and yeah, it doesn't get enough airtime in competitive play.
I think we need to do like a 5-on-5 with it and just see how it goes.
I've always wanted to do a video, do you know, on Siege of Shanghai, especially on Conquest, the big map, get as many people to just drive all the bots into the elevator and just flood them out of the building.
That'd be amazing. I kind of think that needs to happen. I think that does need to happen. Live after 2 restarts. So, guys, thank you for sticking around and listening to us talk absolute nonsense for a good minute or two there. We'll be getting underway nice and quickly. So, once again, to reiterate the fact, if Epsilon drop below 21 tickets, they are losing out on the first map. But it's a very close game, very hard to predict. No clear-cut victory here. So, let's have a little jump in on this one and see who's spinning on what side to mess up my overlays. They've done it again! These bloody people. There we go. So it's Epsilon on the US side. On the Chinese side, it's MYM. And hopefully this time there is not some genocide happening for MYM in their spawn. There's a couple of suicides as soon as I say that, but I assume it's to get the ideal spawns.
I believe so.
I hope so. I pray to God.
You pray to Jesus, who was in our games before.
Are you mocking me?
No,
this is horrible. This is
no.
horrible. Oh, look, you can get a little boost on this one. I didn't even know that existed here. You can actually boost up a little bit of a ledge there. Look at safe. Wow. Cheeky.
It's becoming quite a regular occurrence now, I think. but I don't think it's quite so useful on this map.
No, it might get you maybe a second ahead, but we are obviously underway, so let's find out where they're going for. Massive split there coming towards B actually from MYM, not really challenging out A, sending Flax around the back and Ducky-chan to watch it through, but Punch will go into the buildings. Is this a better start for these guys, or is this dangerous?
It's a bit dangerous. The bleed's going to be instantly on their back here. But you can see, this is what's interesting, where Flax is going right now. He's going very long way behind A.
Jesus Christ.
I've not seen this done before, but that's because he wants to seawall at A. Very good cover. And he's just waiting there. You can see Ducky-chan waiting just for time before they push out here. But he's going to get taken out by Duke PT. And this is a weird opening, actually. And you can see Epsilon now are able to pressure this B flag without any problems.
Yeah, this may not have been the ideal placing here, because already we've seen the likes of the Epsilon side break through into the buildings. They've got B, and all the MYM are walking away with is the A side. So not the perfect start for these guys. Maybe that little bit of a plan backfired, as we kind of saw there, but still, maybe they convert towards the C side. We are seeing Punch edging towards it. Safe does manage to find a frag as well, so they're slowly but surely working it down, but kills don't necessarily mean the caps come your way. Horek gets taken down. Nice little nades coming through now, but only one flag still to 2. This is not the ideal start for MYM. They're struggling now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that push on A has gone the way they want, because now they've just found themselves stuck out at that flag, no control of these buildings, and Epsilon with complete control in the middle.
Yeah, we are seeing Safe there trying to lay down some fire, but there was a player a little bit too close for comfort, so he has to back away, try and get that HP back in his favor. Not going to happen. The buildings are still desperately staying in favor to Epsilon at the moment, really doing the damage here. There is Ducky-chan just laying in wait down below, maybe hoping for the respawns here, but they are still just left with one flag. Punchroll laying just steps away from the seaside, spraying through, does find Akosh, so at least there's a little bit of a silver lining to this one as the storm is coming in now. Flag being capped over, but A immediately being contested.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. Epsilon are playing the flag game here. They're jumping off. They know that MYM's taking their sweet time to get onto flags, and this has given them plenty of opportunities to just overwhelm and be in the right place at the right time. And right now you can see a push coming from MYM on B, but they took so long to get this one going.
Yeah, they certainly did. Ducky-chan is in the buildings, however. B is being converted over. SA8F got absolutely demolished, screaming to his death. And B is once again the last bastion for MYM. It's the only one they can capture out here. Punchroll does come into effect there, does take out Akosh. Seriously, the only man that seems to fall for Epsilon. And we are seeing a 2-1 fairly secure hold. Flax being the lone man splitting off by himself again. Looking for a way through. He knows there's a player right down the back there. He's found the respawns. He's got at least one in the bag, but he can't find any more just yet. Going to try and lay claim to these buildings. Safe follows suit, but does find a player who's just peering up behind them, and this spells trouble. They just cannot claim these buildings safely. They might be able to convert onto A, but I can imagine B will be straight away challenged out by the opposition.
Yeah, if this is better for MYM now. They have the buildings, they have B, and they are going to take A. But you can see they're already trying to overwhelm Punchroll defending that house. And he goes down, and this is now going to open up B, as you don't want to be caught shooting at B while there's someone already on the building across from you, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, certainly not. So B going their way. Safe is the man kind of trying to lay down fire from afar with that Scar H in hand. He knows B is being capped over. There's nothing he can do about this. His team are only just breaking through into the buildings. B has gone the other way. The only real flag in the hands of MYM is A, and this is troublesome. Let's bear in mind it's Epsilon who had the deficit on the last map. This time, they're sitting on 131 tickets to only 69 of MYM's. Very different picture here. Let's see if MYM can pick it up after the disastrous start. Flax, nice little push in. Once again, Akosh does go down. He's sitting on 1-3, the only player to really be kind of dominated at the moment. But we are seeing the counter cap coming out, and this is just really troublesome sight. MYM are just not finding their feet.
Yeah, they're not, and they need to get this one-on-one over A. It's a 2-on-1 right now. But this is key. MYM need this victory on this A flag, and they need it quick, and they get it. But right now, they need to solidify their hold on this B flag. And right now, they're spread out on these buildings, which is fine, but they need to make sure that they win control, and they need to win control quick.
Yeah, Flax did just get taken down. Punchroll now kind of left with it, and Ducky-chan on that B site. Not sure where to go. They are seeming like they want to go towards that C area, but you might not want to be overextending now. You finally got that 2-1 hold, but we are going to see Ducky-chan being challenged out here. Curious to see if he's well enough set up. Certainly is. He's watching his own push. Careful, cautious play. Not be able to watch the B side, but I think he's got the right idea in mind. He's allowed his teammate to do the same. Akosh going on the push, forcing the fire out, and the nade, just about landing with a med pack should heal him up a fair way. But we are seeing careful play from from these guys. However, on the other side, it's not been the same picture. David already getting through, and already Epsilon are breaking this one down. B is being countercapped, and once again, not pretty sight for MYM now.
They've been just thrown out on this A flag, and this is where they started at the beginning of the round, and this is where they're ending up now in the midterm, and it's just not looking good for them because they're forced to go around to C, and it takes so long, and it gives Epsilon plenty of times to decide to go on A or to just reinforce C, and it's not going their way right now.
No, it's certainly not. We are seeing once again the buildings being defended and held by Epsilon. They may not necessarily always be in them, but they are certainly watching the push at the very least, knowing that MYM desperately want it. We are seeing all three flags originally being contested, then A is going back and forth. Duke is now in trouble. Two players coming towards him. He's got himself locked in from one side. Will he be able to fend off the wolves at the doors? Yes, he can. Picks up Wafi. One more man is present. Find his exit route. Oh, this is lovely play from him. He should be able to hold this one down. He's got one more man pushing forward, but that should be an easy pick up unless Punch does get a couple of respawns. We are seeing C in the hands of MYM, but still 2-1 hold, 42 tickets to 103. This is not a pretty sight at all.
No, MYM, this is their map as well, and that's definitely not a good sign for them right now. They've managed to just constantly get shut out on the flags that they don't need. They need better control on B, and they just have not got it at all through the start of this game right until now.
Well, let's see if Epsilon can lock this one down again. Well, they did find Flax on the site there. Medpack just keeping Horek up nice and healthy. The rest of the side do push out to start challenging those buildings. Those 32 tickets are looking minimal now for MYM. There's so few ways back into this. They have to do something magical to pull this one back through. And just those little peaks coming out from those boxes, not allowing MYM an easy shot here. We've got Safe going for an individual split towards the A side, but it's still B with all the action. Flax is down, everyone is falling, and Epsilon once again laying claim towards this site. Horek double checking the site, and still 21 tickets, C and A being capped over. Epsilon claiming C, A going towards MYM, but it's not looking too good in any way, shape or form. Akosh finally stepping up. David on the C side, holding Ducky Chan at arm's length. There's the 2-1 hold. I don't see a way back in now for MYM.
No, you can see once again stuck out on A, and it's a constant issue for them. They're always stuck over on the right side of the map, and Epsilon still controlling the buildings. They never feel safe on any of these flags. It's just looking too much, maybe. But Epsilon are just starting to take it in their stride, and MYM are falling apart on their home map.
Yeah, they really are, which is a bit of a rare sight. Normally they look so strong here, and it's unbelievable to watch them, but at the moment they are looking nowhere near as good. We see a little bit of a sideward split going around, B being the side, but two players dug in deep for Epsilon, just really adding pressure. 6 tickets remaining against the odds. Epsilon have done this one, unless something absolutely magical happens in the last couple of seconds. I highly doubt it. With 5 tickets left, we are seeing a little bit of a last hurrah coming in for MYM, trying to take down a triple cap here, but still, 4 tickets left. It doesn't matter at this point. A couple of kills, 1 flag cap, and it will be swinging over towards the Epsilon side here. We are already seeing A being held across, Akosh picking up the kill. We've got David moving in, B's being countercapped, and I can pretty much tell you with some security it will be Epsilon walking away with a sterling victory here after going on the half with at least a 21 ticket deficit. There's a 2-1 hold, 1 ticket now remains, and I think that is pretty much all she wrote for MYM as Horek comes in, does try and challenge down, picks up the kill. 81 tickets in the end in favor, especially with that 21 ticket disadvantage. Epsilon looking extraordinarily good.
Yeah, they had you know what? They were in control really in both rounds, but they just let it slip to MYM in the first.
Yes,
and, MYM brought it back and were able to win with 21 tickets. But next round, MYM completely collapsed. That initial strat to try and send Safe around the back at A just didn't pay off. It took too long to actually execute, and when they got it, they'd already lost the key battle at B. And then they just ended up with 1 flag, which really, if they'd gone out and forward straight up, they probably would have been able to at least get 1. And if not, they would have been in a better position to jump off on a flag straight away instead of isolated. And basically, they paid for it all round.
Yeah, so first map has gone Epsilon's way. Second map is going to be Locker. Now, how do you think that one's going to go here? Because I obviously, when I look at Locker, I look at Fnatic. I look at teams like that who certainly have it as one of their strongest. How do these guys fare on this sort of map?
Oh, I don't know. Epsilon obviously have picked it, so they must feel quite comfortable, or at least feel that MYM cannot take them on it. But I think this is a map that could play to MYM's strengths, but at the same time, Epsilon are looking really dominant right now, so I've got a feeling they're probably going to take this 2-0.
Well, we'll find out in just a moment's time, obviously, as the map is loading up. And you guys at home, I tell you once again, get involved on Twitter. We love hearing from you guys. Make sure you tweet at myself, at They Call Me Pansy, and my incredible co-caster, who does not get enough credit, at DeemTastDog. I give him grief, but he's actually probably one of the most knowledgeable co-casters in this game so far. Sorry, Benson. I know you did well, but... Dogwitch beating you to the punch. But still, obviously, do let me know your thoughts on our casting, because I think we need to bring Dogbit across to the finals. I think it has to happen. I think it's only fair. We might have to keep him like on a leash or something. But you know, we'll certainly have to kind of keep it in mind. But do let us know how you think this is going so far. This is probably my second solo job doing this one, which is always a little bit hairy, to say the least. It's not the most smooth acting kind of things on this one. It's like... It's like held together with duct tape, is all I'm saying when I'm at the helm here. It's a lot of buttons and a lot of pressing things that don't always work right for me. It's like I'm generally like, even when I'm casting in a proper, fully functioning studio with a producer, I'm not allowed to touch things. Like, genuinely, it's like, Lauren, you're allowed to use maybe your mouse and keyboard, but that is it. Aside that, you can put on your headset and stop, because otherwise it goes really badly wrong, generally. So hopefully I don't break anything. But, okay, so on this one we will be seeing Epsilon, I believe, starting on the Russian side. So we can switch that overlay to this. And on the US side, it will be MYM. Now, what can we expect from the start here from the two sides? Because they're very different spawns. What sort of start do you think we're going to see?
Usually see at least a two-man push, maybe from the Epsilon side, going out onto C, really to just contest it. But sometimes you just see one man on that hill at C to just buy time while Epsilon, or if they decide to barrel on to B. But it looks like both teams are playing pretty much a standard strat on this map, moving to set their positions up middle and let the big fight happen out at C.
Well, let's pick it up with Jarrett here, as he is the first man on the hill, gets tagged up quite early on, edging away from the bullets coming through, but C has been capped over by the Meteor Maker's side, so Epsilon going to have to play catch-up on this, because it is that 2-to-1 hold. That middle line being held down there by, obviously, MYM. Punch Roll will be challenged out. They've got the players pushing forward. David does go down to Ducky Chance. They're holding on to this. Flax does find the reply, but still, it's a 1v3 outside for Jarrett, who's literally just trying to buy time. Nades are coming through. He's literally got no way out of this. And this is a great start coming from MYM. This is the start they probably needed here in this one. But still, look at David 2K already splitting through towards that B side.
Yeah, as soon as they got the picks in middle, and you've seen that MYM had so many out at C, B was always going to be friend. And as soon as the picks came in, you've seen David 2K go in for it. And I think maybe MYM have overcommitted to the defense of B because they've completely been wiped out at C.
Yeah, Duke's going to be capping that one over. They've already got Horek pushed up to a quite aggressive position here, so he might be able to get a couple on the cross, let them pass through, and maybe Matt Jera kind of challenge them down, but actually they've let them slip quite far through here. This could be a little bit of a pain in the end, and let's see if Jera can hold on here, because he's the one who really needs to do the work. B is being counter-capped as we speak, so really troublesome sight now. Epsilon going for the triple cap here, but A is now in danger. Akosh is pretty much the only man on the site. He's got David quite far back. He might just get that reload onto Jera, and now we are seeing B finally with the attention of MYM. We do, however, have Ducky Chan pushed up quite far, but a trip cap on this map is a dangerous sight.
Yeah, and Horek was there just to buy time. Everyone else is in their set positions. Oh, Jareth just got caught before he could get back to his. And there's a big spawn by Horek as well. That's going to reinforce C, but he gets taken out immediately. Even though this is looking bad for MYM, if they get this finish off on Duke like that, it's going all their way now. They're going to get C. There's no one to contest that. And right now, they're just got to keep Epsilon on the back foot here. They are behind in tickets, but not by too much. And at this point, the initiative's with MYM. But if they want to play a static game, they're just going to give the initiative back to Epsilon.
Yeah, and Epsilon are already looking very hungry towards that C side. They've sent Horror out and David. We've got Jera pushing up through middle, trying to break through himself, apply pressure absolutely everywhere. And actually, Jera's got himself through here. He's not been spotted out yet. Finally, Ducky Chan turns his attention, but it does go down in favor to Epsilon. And Epsilon should be able to break through here unless that one-man band that is Flax can hold on. Does challenge down one, but still, he's been tagged up rather heavily. Down to 50 HP. He pushes in. He does take down Horek. That is a big kill coming in for this man. But immediately, we do have Ducky Chan in on their faces, and we're going to see if they can hold on to this one for a little bit longer, because MYM are looking fairly strong, and they should be quite able to actually take over A until Jerry gets around the back.
Yeah, and MYM have just gone and done exactly what they needed to get back in this game. They've gone and got a full cap. More importantly, they can buy time at any of these flags if they need to. They've got people everywhere. They'll probably lose that A flag, no problem, but they'll keep the B and C, and that bleed is what they need to make this game even. They take the lead for the first time in quite a while, and more importantly, they're not in a position where they can be overwhelmed quickly now.
And look at Waffy, though. He's already expecting a player outside. Flax has crossed past him, so we could see C going over towards the other side. There's 2 players for MYM, 2 now coming for Epsilon. He knows where one is, but where is where the other? No, Epsilon could turn this one. It should, in theory, go their way. We do have 1 player now coming in from the back. And we are seeing Horik dancing around the side, trying to dodge those bullets. Finally does stay alive, so they've got the 2-1 hold in their favor. They should be able to equalize some of these tickets to a certain extent, as Safe will be batted back to re-counter this. But we do have a player pushing it. It's Ducky Chan all alone here, trying to make a little bit of a stand by that A site. He's surrounded by the opposition. Not the ideal place. Duke will punish him for it, and we are seeing that 2-1 hold. But can they hold it here?
This is the exact position at Epsilon 1, and the problem is MYM are taking far too much time to try and move forward. They get the picks, but then they stop again. They give time for the respawns to come in, and their pressure is constantly on the C flag. They don't really go for A unless they can.
I thought Horik almost got around the back of them then. He was in the perfect place to re-challenge on that C side, but in the end he did get caught out. David, however, they didn't go for the counter cap straight away. David's already found Safe there, so he's going to have to back away, but still, where's the convert here? We do see the push out code from Epsilon try to make the way across mid because they know they're going to lose out on C, at least for now, but still, they're holding it down 2-1. They picked up the mid kill. Jera has opened up a path towards B. Whether or not they take it, though, very different matters. They got a 2-2 outside.
Yeah, and Epsilon now are just in complete control of this game, even though it might not look it just yet. They're going to be able to put pressure on that B flag, and you can see that MYM here have to recuperate and move straight back into that B flag. Now they can open up into A, but at the same time, they're being stretched quite thin right now.
Yeah, Jera did try and make a little bit of a commotion by that B side, but he did get taken down quite quickly. We are seeing MYM now with just 1 flag on B. 82-81, this is extraordinarily close. Epsilon, David trying to do the damage in mid. He finally gets taken down. We are seeing MYM trying to get on towards that A side. They should be able to get this one in their hands, and actually they've got a player on C. They are losing out on B, but this is looking quite good now. Epsilon need to certainly kind of readjust things, as B will be the only side they're going to walk away with. They actually have C in the bag, excuse me. And now it's just A for MYM.
Yeah, and it's not so bad because spawns come out on B quite regularly, and that's what you got with Waffy and Punchel right now. And they get the trade, so that's good for MYM. But they need to make sure they hold on to A. They can hold this B in A, no problem. They just need to make sure that they're in strong position to hold off the next attack.
Well, let's see. We do have Safe already putting towards that infirmary, getting the respawns towards him. Very cautious defense here from MYM, and you can see why. David is just breaking through. Down to 60 HP, however, so not in the best position, but that nade has really opened it up. Waffy is down far up on a Ducky Chan, and that is the claim they needed on towards that A site. And now, where's the next target of focus here?
It all depends on exactly where they feel comfortable. Both teams now seem to really be focusing a lot on that C flag as much as possible. You can see for MYM have started to focus it on the command squads. So C is where they're going to go, but that's because they're struggling to push into A.
Yeah, and Ducky Chan, now finally joined by a teammate outside, is really struggling. They're not finding an easy path through. Horik is really costing them troubles. David round the back as well. Perfectly played stuff here from Epsilon. You can see why that 2-1 is in their favor at the moment. And, well, I've got to say, MYM now really have to brute force their way through here.
Yeah, and MYM are running out of time in a way because Epsilon are on the key flags. They're in the right place to stop any pressure, and they're getting the kills when it's a problem. But here's Ducky Chan, and this might be the decider. He can now go round to pretty much take C or go for A.
I think it's a big kind of question mark in his head. He's even looking back and forth, finally calls out towards that A side. David is in the back, though, does get the tag onto each other. We are seeing the exchange going down in A as well, but Epsilon hold on to it. The indecision then by MYM may have just cost them that, and that has got to be really in the back of their minds now because they're in serious trouble here.
Yeah, there's so many times that MYM have got the clearance. There's no one to stop them taking a flag. They're second-guessing themselves. They're not as confident as Epsilon, and that's where they're starting to lose out. The ticket lead isn't that bad, but they could be in a much closer game if they didn't hesitate so much.
Yeah, and now we're going to see if Horek can once again withhold against such a big force. He's got backup coming in the form of David, but he's just laying away. He has got found by Ducky Chan. Now it's just David holding on to C. We already see a couple of players getting aggressive in mid. That's Duke now makes his way around the back. Finds Flax, does not get the exchange, however, so C should be falling in favor finally to meet your makers, who really are struggling to get back into this one. 18 tickets remaining. It's not a huge lead, but immediately Jera on the break now towards that side. He's just teasing them back. I wonder if MYM are going to overcompensate again.
Yeah, at the same time, Epsilon really can just flow in whenever they feel need. So Duke PT's coming in now, the hardest hitter on the Epsilon team, and there's the picks on B, and now there's no one there to stop them. MYM are stuck out at C. They need to rush this A flag as quick as possible, hope for a random spawn near B. That's our only chance right now to salvage this round.
Well, let's see. We do have Horek now racing in towards our A side. If he wins this exchange, they should be able to hold on to it. And he has picked up. He's taken down Puncher, or at least buying enough time. And 9 tickets now remaining. He's even survived the nade exchange. This is not a good sign. MYM are in dire straits, and a beautiful little aggressive push coming out from the back. Flax has got a route through, but with 5 tickets left, I don't think it's going to be enough. And he's just pushed in for the sake of it. But what a lovely bit of play from Epsilon then at the end. Really just is showing their dominance and showing how confident they are in this. And that's not a bad little ticket lead, considering how quick and close this was at the start between these two teams. It's surely going to give them confidence going into that second half now. With 1 ticket left, any respawn's going to give this one away. And that has got to be in their minds at the moment. The C is being capped over, so maybe there's a little bit of a silver lining here, but I do think this one is pretty much over and done with, and I think we can all agree as B is now being capped. We are seeing a little bit of a stand out from these guys, so you never know. Maybe this is going to be the incredible game we've all been waiting on, but with nades like that, I don't think it's going to be. But they are working away at the lead that was building for the opposition, so every little helps. But Punch, pretty much the last man standing, taking down what he can, but 48 tickets. They made the best out of a bad situation, but let's bear in mind how, that first map went, obviously, or the kind of start of this map went, should I say. It was quite a very back and forth game. There was no clear-cut victor then, but mid to late, Epsilon just really stretched their legs then.
Yeah, they started to get all the kills. They started to make all the spawns at MYM be really danger ones. There was constant pressure on them in the mid and late game. Early on, though, back and forth, back and forth. But as soon as MYM started to falter in the middle, that's when Epsilon really just punished them, and they were all over them. On that B flag especially, Epsilon were making their presence felt constantly.
It was beautiful to watch as well. The one thing I really liked about Epsilon was, if they saw that C was being contested, they'd always make sure they had a hold, a solid enough hold within the mid section to be able to, at least rotate Duke around the back, support David or Horek, and it was just really nicely played. MYM constantly struggled. As you said, they always seem to overcompensate on some of these sites. So B, for example, the first time they tried for retake, they kind of, allotted too many people. And then when they went for C, they kind of negated the fact that a lot of people can obviously easily rotate through mid. But, hindsight is 2020, but watching this back, I'm sure they'll probably kind of assume the same thing, that maybe them overcompensating might be a little bit of a downfall. So let's once again bear in mind, if MYM, which are now on the Russian side, just to mess with me a little bit, drop below 48 tickets, this game will be over, and Epsilon will be securing themselves through towards tomorrow's game. But do you think MYM can turn this one around now? Do you think they can kind of recoup and kind of reconsider their options now going into the second half?
48 tickets isn't the worst. They will start on the more favoured side. They will probably... the thing is, the bleed will go against them early on, but they're in a better position to cap that C flag than Epsilon will be in defending it. It's how Epsilon want to approach this. And I've got a feeling Epsilon are going to make their presence felt in the middle tunnel and the outer tunnel of A. And that's where I feel you're going to see a lot of Epsilon.
Yeah, let's see what they go for early on. We are seeing a bit of a 4-1 split. They're actually not going at all out for C. This is a mad exchange. MYM and Epsilon going head-to-head in mid. This is unbelievable stuff, and Epsilon coming out the better of it. C is completely left open. A could be going over to Epsilon if they can get these kills in. Safe goes down, and this is unreal. They could get the triple cap straight away. They're leaving B over, and Duke can now push down B if he fancies it and just roam mid. That exchange was absolutely unbelievable. Oh my word.
1 ticket was lost by Epsilon in an exchange where they not only switched sides, taking the better side, getting a complete 5-man wipe, and absolutely just dominated MYM. Both teams called each other's bluff, thinking who can run straight down the middle and Epsilon came out better, which they would, but both teams probably expected not to find so much resistance in the middle.
And Horek just got a triple kill there out on that C flag. You can see why it's so hard to do with him. He's literally popping up, and he's taken down another. Punch falls as well. And this is a horrific sight for MYM. They cannot break through at all. Jared playing aggressive, creating that crossfire. Literally, it is just shooting fish about. He's just spotting them out, counting them out to Horek, who's just going to be waiting. The crossfire will come in. Here comes the mowdown kill. One player has split through, however. Now, I'm not even sure who that is. I think it's Ducky-chan making his way out. He should be able to at least get this C-side for now, but immediately, David pushing down, trying to get into his face. Nate comes out, and there's a switch around again. Epsilon are looking damn strong here.
Big spawn by MYM. Punchal right behind on A. If they sync this attack up, it will go down very well. Epsilon also have Horek spawning in a very nice position. Right now, this is great for Epsilon, but MYM are on the edge of taking this A flag now.
Well, let's see if they expect Akosh there. He did push around. He went around the infirmary, but 2 against 1 now. Safe will make it count, and already MYM looking to just really secure that C site as well. We've got the back spawn for Horek, so this should be a 2-1 hold at least once the exchange goes down in favor to MYM, which they really did need after such a dire start to things. But Duke already out there. Ducky-chan did take out his teammate, but Duke will convert C, so it's already a 2-1 once again in favor to Epsilon, and only one man pushing towards the outside from MYM. This is really troublesome. They can't seem to get an advantage in any way, shape, or form here.
Yeah, this is not the... First of all, they got wiped straight off the bat. That went horrifically wrong for MYM. I think they expected little resistance, and from then on out, this game is just becoming a stand and bang. They're just going at it. They're not really trying to play anything smart. They're just going for flags and kills, and that's fine for Epsilon. They can play that game. MYM really needs to come at this a lot smarter.
Well, they're trying to hold a 2-1 now. Punchal in a perfect position to mop up the remains of the Epsilon spawn around the back. But we are seeing a couple of players slipping through. Horek already getting on towards that A side. We see MYM trying to make their way around the back. S8F coming through mid with that AAK, really rattling the bullets through the bodies here. But still, 2-1 hold, still in favor to Epsilon. It's not a good sign. 92 tickets remaining. What can MYM do here? They have at least a chance for maybe picking up A now.
They need to just... at this point, they need to just play that game. They either need to get a 2 flag cap, A and B at this point, and just really make Epsilon pay for coming in so crazy. Problem is, Epsilon get the one-on-ones, and that's where it becomes an issue.
Every single MYM player I'm trying to click onto here is just dying, and there's nothing they can do. 87 tickets here. David is holding on towards that B site for now. There is a player trying to contest it, make it a lot more players. Immediately the swing around from Epsilon coming out towards that C site, because B will be going MYM's favor, in their favor, at least for now. But where do they push to from here?
They're going to try and go for A. I think that they might try a split push here, hit both A and C. Problem is, they don't have that much time. They probably have about 2 pushes left in them before they go under the red line of 48 tickets. And right now, Epsilon know it, and they're just going to play smart and hold back.
Yeah, indeed. Punchal holding them in place. So this time David and Jared cannot push around the back. But still, MYM not finding an easy route out here. We are seeing them at only 1 flag against the 2 of the opposition. 75 tickets remaining. And Flack's already down. Safe is in a bad spot now. 2 players laying down that fire. He's got backup in the form of Wafi further back. Horek getting aggressive, taking down his backup first. That means we've got a little bit of a stalemate going down the C side. We are seeing C going back and forth. And we've got Horek just pushing in to his death, but there's no counter cap going on B. This could be a 2-1 hold finally in favor to MYM.
It is, but it's a one that's constantly in threat of being taken down. You can see Epsilon cycling more and more people into the C attack. And more importantly, Horek just got a big spawn out on B. And right now, this might be the end of MYM's chances here.
Well, 65 tickets. If they drop below 48, that is when the alarm bells ring. They're going to go for the convert on towards A, but whether or not they can get it, David sneaking in. He's looking to do some damage. This could be a big cap coming through. Oh, he kind of shows load a little bit earlier, then finally follows it up with the kill. So that might be a little bit of a challenge, drawing the attention away. You've got the counter cap going on to B. 58 tickets left. They're trying to get this one close. It could be a 2-1 hold, but look at the spawn from Epsilon. They're coming around the back of A. That is really going to add just insult to injury, because they're so close to dropping out of this MYM now. Jared comes in, finds Flax. Nate will fall, but he's still doing the damage. And already Duke looking towards B. This is not looking good now.
Yeah, Epsilon are just attacking. And MYM are constantly on the back foot. They never have ever had any chance to put a really good attack in, but hasn't been counterattacked immediately by Epsilon. The tickets are going against them. They have one push left, and I honestly don't think they have time.
Let's see if they can do it as Ducky-chan makes his way down the corner, finding Jera, such a key player. We've got the exchange between Punchroll and Horik going down, but Ducky-chan pushing straight in, gets picked up by one. His teammates were nowhere to be found. They did not push him with him. He was literally subdued. 48 tickets have dropped, and there we have it. Epsilon, they've gone and done it. They'll be going through to tomorrow's game, and MYM just got made to look like amateurs in that one.
Yeah, that Locker is just a map for Epsilon. A lot of the big teams like to pick it. UMAV, AAA, Fnatic, and Epsilon. So now it's just looking like Epsilon have practiced enough, and I think they practice it very hard because of teams like Fnatic. And man, just so damn dangerous.
It's beautiful to watch as well. You can see really the thought and the kind of tactics of the teams really come into the forefront on it, which is why I do like Locker, to be fair. I still think it's one of my more favourable maps to kind of witness, because the evolution of tactics is perfect. You know, you see teams who really kind of lock down the holds, watch the rotates. And I think, I think it was Duke then, a player who often went on the rotate through that hold in mid, especially when they had that A and C site and, C was being contested. That's a little bit of a, specific evolution that was only I ever saw coming out from Epsilon, so it's lovely to watch. You are hearing the teams just kind of exiting game there. But let's have a little check up with the bracket here. Let me just throw that onto your screen so you can see what is going on. Up in the top, it was Fnatic who beat you Super AM, but they did drop a map, so slightly surprising result there. Fnatic not looking so untouchable these days. Following that, obviously they'll be facing off against Exacquo, who took down PKD, but I believe that was either by one ticket, if I'm not mistaken, if it was that map match, which is slightly surprising. And Dignitas up against AA. How do you think that one's going to go? Because we saw a really standout performance from AAA in the last cup.
I've been watching this game on my second screen on my live scoreboard, and right now AAA won the first map on Goldman Railway, and they are playing on Zaphod, and Dignitas at the moment are ahead 82-58. I'm sure there is a French stream for that one, but yeah, I'm kind of a bit nervous about that one.
Well, Zaphod has always been quite a strong map for Dignitas, so hopefully they pull through there. But still, moving on from that, obviously Epsilon against Meteor Makers. Epsilon did walk away the victory in that one. After a really shaky start, let's say, on Storm, losing out on the half to 21 tickets, having a really brilliant comeback, and then just stamping their authority on the second map with a 48 ticket lead. Following that is going to be GC eSports up against Team UMAV. Now, a great result against Yoki there, actually. Yoki, I think they've lost Koa to Eyeballers, if I'm not mistaken. So, maybe they're kind of searching for a little bit of their rhythm in this, but hopefully we'll get some updates. But, guys, if you do want to keep up to date with those brackets, obviously head over towards battlefield-ems1.com. Simple as that, and you get all the updates you need. And you can check out the rankings, which I will be looking forward to seeing at the end of this playday, because that's the important factor here. Because let's bear in mind, the top 16 teams will be joining us once again for the groups, which kind of define who'll be making it through to the offline finals. So a bit of an important one coming up. Now, obviously, you do look after the Dignitas team to an extent. Obviously, they are kind of your team to look after. How do you think they're going to do if they do make it through to the groups? I think they're fairly secure. They're up in 5th. I don't think anyone's going to be really making a bit of a poignant point to them, even if they do lose out to Against All Authority. How do you think they're going to do in that group stage? Because that's really where it comes down to crunch time.
I think it all comes down to their opponents. I think Dignitas can beat anyone in those rankings, anyone from Fnatic all the way down to PARACEL. They can win, but they have to come in with the right mindset. A lot of teams, especially AAA, for example, who they're playing right now, as long as Drunks is playing on top, as long as he's game, they're all right. But if Drunks doesn't play well, AAA doesn't play well. So that's a team that very works on that. And Dignitas kind of have a similar thing. For them, it's Marsu and Jajetsky. They're their key players. They're their key fraggers who do a lot of the work. So kind of very similar in a way with AAA. They're very well-balanced teams. But right now, it does look like AAA are kind of taking the advantage on that. They can do well, but the teams I'm most interested about, especially going into the group stages, are the teams which look really strong, but could, and we have seen them start to falter. Teams like Fnatic, teams like Meteor Makers, and they're teams that should be doing a lot better, but they seem to start losing games.
It is surprising, you know, at the very start of this, I think everyone kind of expected, you know, that strong kind of dominance from the likes of Fnatic, who are at the top of this at the moment on the rankings. But, you know, obviously once you pick up, you know, a victory in one of the cups, if you're not finishing top 3 in the rest, you're generally going to be fairly secure. But they have struggled a couple of times. They've been dropping maps now, you know, and it's looking like everyone's kind of catching up to the idea of what they're doing. You know, I think at the start everyone's kind of a little, not surprised, but, you know, no one's kind of used to it just yet. But then you see teams, you know, very quickly adapting, obviously, and really start making their presence known. And those strategies that really worked once may not constantly work. That's the big difference. So curious to see how this goes. Obviously, I'm very much looking forward to tomorrow's games once we find out who makes it through there. But I've just got to thank you once again for joining me, Doug. But it's been a pleasure as always casting with you, and you know, we'll hopefully work on your game knowledge. I know it's not been up to par recently, but you know, we'll try and help you out. But obviously, once again, guys at home, make sure you follow my co-caster on Twitter, Dignitas Dogbert, and let him know how you think he did today, because he does save my ass when my normal co-caster is absent and sent away to Sao Paulo. But that is it from us today. If you do want to check out the updated bracket and rankings and see who will be joining us tomorrow, and obviously into the group stages, do head over to battlefield-ems1.com and check out the whole site there, because of information, a lot of stuff up there for you guys to enjoy and read about, and all the VODs obviously are available. So guys, make sure you follow myself at TheCallMePansy on Twitter if you've enjoyed what I've done. If not, tune in tomorrow and see if I can change your minds. We'll be going live at 7 CET again, so catch you then, hopefully.
Peggy 18.
For 2 years, we've listened to the tales of our fellow soldiers. But the war has changed, and with it, the stories. Stories of men being swallowed up whole in the flooded bowels of Metro. Or never emerging from the fiery hells of Operation Firestorm. We've listened to the legends of entire armies being decimated by a single strike along the Caspian border. And sandstorms so fierce in the Gulf of Oman, it's like you're fighting ghosts. For 2 years we've heard these stories. Listen to the legends. They say this is a war that cannot be won. We'll put that theory to the test.